Hey, howdy, hey, y'all. Welcome back to the channel. Yesterday was the big day. We finally got Gray Zone Warfare in our hands to play. It's on Steam. It's $35.99 USD and about $40 Canadian. And so far, I am having a lot of fun with it. But I'm not here to dick around with you guys or stroke the egos of the guys over at Madfinger. I'm here to stand on business, and I'm here to tell you guys the honest truth about Gray Zone Warfare. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. If you guys like what you've seen today, make sure you like and sub for more content like this. If you want to support the channel even more and see videos before anybody else, it's only 99 cents a month, and in my opinion, that's a damn good deal. Not damn better than $250, I'm just saying. All right, let's get into it. I also want to start this off by giving you 100% full transparency. Since I participated in the first playtest, you know, the one where there was about 20 of us, I got the support edition of Gray Zone Warfare for free. It was like a courtesy gift for me going through the trials and tribulations with these guys and experimenting with the game in its earliest stages. Even though I did not ask for the supporter edition to be handed over to me, I am extremely grateful and appreciative that the guys over at Madfinger thought of me so highly and decided to go ahead and just throw me a bone. However, on the same note, everyone at Madfinger knows that over here we stand on goddamn business, so I'm calling spades a spade while simultaneously providing feedback that will help them. It's all love on my end, but what I recommend you buy this game, you need to stick around and find out. But first things first, I want to talk about some things that people who buy this game because of this video or anybody else's video, they're gonna buy the game, they're gonna load up into it, and these are the issues that they're going to face. First things first, optimization is a pretty significant issue that is inconsistent across multiple system builds. For example, I have a mid-tier build, I'd say, a Ryzen 9 3900X with the Gigabyte 6800 XT OC edition. So with that combined with FSR enabled and my graphics being on medium to low, I was getting about 70 to 100 frames pretty consistently, but there were people with 3080s and newer only getting 40 or less frames. Not everybody experienced issues, which is a great thing, but the majority of people who were having these issues were the same ones immediately dropping a negative review, and you know, rightfully so to some extent. Good thing is Madfinger is already aware of this issue, and they immediately started working on a patch pretty much after the game went live. And while I was typing out the script for this video, Madfinger pushed out a patch that fixed a fair amount of the issues, but not every one of them. The patch primarily fixed people not spawning in with heads, gear, clothing, stash boxes. Yeah, it's a bit of a clusterfuck, but they're fixing it. So my recommendation is this: if you plan on playing Gray Zone Warfare, make sure you purchase the base version. If you upgrade, you won't be able to refund the game. Turn all of your graphics on low to medium, and if you hate how it runs, just refund the game or wait for another patch to come out. Now this is for my FSR users, my AMD people out there. You may encounter an issue with FSR like I do, and you may be able to see it in the video here and there, but occasionally the assets in the environment will glitch out for a frame or two, then pop back in. This may have something to do with the AI frame rendering that they have through Fidelity FX, but regardless, it's an issue that distracts from the immersion. I've also noticed that without the AI frame rendering and FSR enabled, the game is so fucking choppy, it makes me borderline motion sick. Another con that I gotta talk about is the AI. The million-dollar topic that's been a struggle to perfect for Madfinger. And again, full transparency here, the AI was half of why many of the creators who played both playtests, like myself, were telling Madfinger to hold off on a Q1 2024 release, but the AI is leaps and bounds better than what many of us had expected. Now, people who have no fucking clue what they're talking about will say that the AI in this game is worse than Tarkov's, or they'll say that the AI is the worst thing they ever seen. It's all bullshit, so let's be real here. The AI is so much better than what it was, but they are very inconsistent still. For example, I died twice to the same AI after mag dumping him with a Glock 17 and hitting him with a round or two out of my M4. I did notice that more AI died to one or two gunshots depending on the location of impact, but we still have AI taking half a mag to the dome and surviving. Towards the end of the very first day of the playtest, we started having server stability issues. It is one of the more noticeable issues aside from AI, but I will chalk that up to a couple of different things. Not necessarily giving Madfinger a pass, but there are other elements at play here. The game released on a Tuesday, and for all of my console players out there, Tuesdays are when Steam takes down their servers to do maintenance, and usually the servers on Steam's side are shitty to deal with for pretty much the entire day. There was also 55,000 to 65,000 plus people playing the game on day one. That's a lot of fucking people. Now, a counter argument that you may have is, well, if they knew that there were going to be that many people playing or even speculated that many people playing, how come they didn't reserve more server space? And I'm telling you right now, your money can only go so far. But we don't know what their financials are like. We didn't know if they had to release the game this early or not. You don't know this, and I don't want to speculate anything, and you shouldn't either. But regardless, with all of that being said, I played for about an hour or two before I had to hop off and start working on this video, and the servers went down twice in US Central. The server issues kept happening pretty much throughout the night. Again, not entirely Madfinger's fault, but I do get why people are frustrated. Here's something that I don't know if anyone's talked about yet, but I'll be the first one to say it if nobody else has. If you use the ACOG site from Gunny, be warned that the shit is fucking broken. If you ADS with the ACOG site, it cuts your frames in half, but only within the sight of the scope itself. Everything on the outside of the scope isn't affected, which is just really goddamn weird to look at. It has your eyes playing weird tricks on you and it makes my head hurt. I hate that site so damn much. For right now, I'm only in the PvE mode doing quests and learning the game because other than shooting from the side of the mini bird, there's really nothing protecting you from exfil campers in the PvEVP mode. It's so goddamn annoying, but I guess it just comes with the territory. The great thing about the PvE mode though is that your progression transfers in between that mode and the PvEVP mode. Now for me personally, that is all the cons that I had actually encountered. I'm sure there are more, but I'm only speaking on my experience here. So take whatever I say about my experience with a grain of salt and know that your mileage may vary. But I want to go ahead and talk about some pros because I feel like it's only right to give these guys their flowers where it's deserved. Starting off with the first pro, when the issues were minimal, this game is a lot more fun than what people want to give it credit for. I don't give a shit who you are. If the game worked for you and you had a fairly smooth experience, you were loving almost every minute of what you were playing, regardless if you were in PvEVP or in PvE, also known as joint operations. Another thing I want to touch on is even when the game is on its lowest settings, it still looks and feels great. Usually with games like this, you know, games with spec requirements that could crash the GDP of Eastern Europe, anything lower than high graphics just undermines and cuts the texture quality down to almost nothing, but not with Gray Zone Warfare. It's so weird because the game feels less optimized than what it looks, and I'm assuming that's what's throwing me off, but overall, even on potato graphics, it still looks great. Like I mentioned earlier, the PvE mode and the PvEVP mode share the same progression. So if you're a maniac and you grinded out the quest in the PvE mode non-stop, got the best loot you could in the early game and want to raise the stakes, you could go into the PvEVP mode and all your shit will be saved and accessible. This is one of the coolest damn things about this game. You don't have to sacrifice your time and loot if you just want to fuck around and have fun in different modes. One thing that I hear a lot of people talking about, but we don't have a whole lot of information on, is the content pipeline for Gray Zone Warfare will more than likely carry it all the way through its time in early access. Yes, that does include all 150 quests being available day one to anyone who plays, but that also counts for the addition of more quests being added onto this game throughout its entirety in early access. So by the time we actually see the full release of this game come out in about 6 or 7 years, we could see probably close to 400 or 500 quests. I don't know, that's just a rough estimate. I don't know, there's a lot of people saying there's not enough content for this game. If 150 quests do not carry your ass a little bit past the release date, then brother, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Here's another pro for you, the price of the game. The price is a major pro for me because where else are you gonna get another open world experience like this for under 40 bucks? I'm sure they exist, but you'd be hard pressed to find one as polished as Gray Zone is. And you're probably gonna say, oh, Gray Zone Warfare is polished? Yes, in comparison to some of the other games that are doing the exact same thing that Gray Zone is doing, Gray Zone is probably the most polished product out of all of them. Something really cool that these guys are doing as well with Gray Zone is, say for example, you buy the standard edition of the game and you're like, you know what, fuck yeah, I got 20, 30, 40 hours out of this. I want to support these guys even more. I want to upgrade. All you have to do is just pay the difference in between your current edition and the next edition of the game. So say for example, you just want to go from standard to tactical. You only have to pay a $23 difference. From tactical to elite, a $22 difference. And from elite to supporter, a $20 difference overall. But if you just want to jump from standard to supporter, you're going to be coughing up another $35. But they leave it entirely up to you. And I can't find anything within the parameters of these editions of the game that say this is a pay to win thing. Another massive pro in this whole thing is the constant line of communication, transparency, and updating these guys have been doing throughout the past 24 to 48 hours after the game has released. We had Merrick, Rick, and Foxic updating the community on Twitter and Discord, Devil Dog and Ricky handling support tickets, and everyone in between who works in Madfinger that locked in and helped turn this experience into a better one overall. Again, still very rough experience, but a better experience than what we had when it initially released. I just want to warn you that what I'm about to say is a pretty hot take, but overall, if you plan on playing Gray Zone Warfare out of spite for BSG fucking up Tarkov, do me a favor and do not buy Gray Zone Warfare. Not because I don't think you won't enjoy it, you 100% will, but you need to buy this game, in my honest opinion, if you want something to invest in and ride the course with. It's not perfect now, and this game won't be anywhere near perfect for quite some time, but if you can, I challenge you to look past all of the rough shit that's going on right now and look at the bigger picture that's lying behind the smoke. This game is going to make careers for people. It is going to launch content creators into a full-time career with this game. Right now, it is just extremely rough, and it's a little hard to see that. But there's so much stuff coming to this game that if you think that it's going to be dead in 6 months, or if this is just some half-shot attempt at copying Tarkov or trying to cash in on the controversy, then you are narrow-minded as all hell. So with all of that being said, do I recommend you pick up Gray Zone Warfare for $35 USD or $40 Canadian? Absolutely 100% yes, I do. In terms of quality, this is one of the best early access games that I have fucking played by a long shot. Look, let's not be stupid here. We all know that there's going to be content creators that are way larger than me with a lot more exposure who are going to tell their audience that they do not recommend you buy this game and play it. They're going to say it's not worth the $40, which I completely 100% disagree with. They're going to say that it released too early, which I actually agree with, but saying that this game is not worth $40 and nobody should buy it just because you didn't have a good experience with it, I feel like that might be a little disingenuous here. And besides, some of these creators have actually backed games that were in a much worse state and just passed it off as, oh, it'll get better with time, and they never actually really do. And this is not me throwing shade at those creators. I don't have any quarrels with that. It's their content, it's their opinion, it's what matters to them. But let's just go ahead and even out our expectations here and just kind of settle on a middle ground. Gray Zone Warfare is one of the best, if not the best experiences you can get right now in early access for a price tag that is reasonable in today's economy. It's not $70, it's not $150, it's not $250, it's $35.99 USD or $40 Canadian. How much more fair can you get than that? Another thing to kind of back up my claim about people being narrow-minded here, it's just the amount of pointless bitching and complaining I'm seeing from people who haven't even really experienced the game, and it's enough to make me nearly smash my fucking monitors. If you go to the Steam reviews, you have some genuine complaints and issues that people want to see fixed that ruin their experience. And I'm not saying these guys are wrong. All of their complaints are very valid, especially the ones that are detailed out and mapped out. I appreciate those guys because they're giving the proper information that Madfinger needs to improve this game. But I've also seen people with less than 2 hours of playtime who have reviewed the game and are saying shit like the game doesn't have any content, or the quests are boring, or they couldn't load up into the game, whatever the fuck it is. Are you actually high on bath salts or something? I just don't get it. I feel like there's a lot of people mad at this game because they're Tarkov refugees and they were expecting to have an experience like Tarkov on day one, but you're not gonna get it. And that all leads back to the beginning of my overall statement. If you want to play this game or buy this game just to spite BSG, then you're not going to enjoy this game. Even though this game does draw similar comparisons to a game like Escape from Tarkov, with a little bit of elements from Ground Branch or Ghost Recon Wildlands or other games in that genre, even though it draws a little bit of inspiration from those, this game is nothing like them at the same time. Real quick, before I continue on with what I gotta say before this video ends, because it's already going way longer than I expected it to. Who here likes Twitter? Nobody? You uninstalled the app already? Fucking perfect. I'm about to do the exact same thing. I mean, it's just all day long. I've seen people claim that this is a pay-to-win game. It's just another day before. It's gonna be dead in 6 months. These guys have no idea what they're talking about. And if I were Madfinger, I would not sink a single ounce of energy into the rage bait. Now, if I'm gonna be honest here, many of the creators share the same sentiment with me. I don't think this game should have came out on April 30th because this just started a whole wave of people saying that they were only wanting to cash in on the Tarkov drama, which is not the case. These guys have openly stated for months at this point that they were aiming for a Q1 2024 release. Sure, they overshot it by a little bit, but it's still technically considered Q1. Honestly, I wish these guys would have released in like Q3 of 2024 or even Q1 of 2025, just to allow it those extra months of breathing room and a little bit more time in the oven. Host a few more play tests, get more people in, get those experiences rounded out. You're not gonna satisfy everybody, but if you can satisfy 90% of the crowd, then you're already above everybody else. And I feel like with the Steam reviews going from overwhelmingly negative back up to mix at 60% mixed reviews, there's really a lot of things going for this game here that are saving it from just staying at overwhelmingly negative. And one of the major things is their community feedback. Now, I don't think we should be using early access as an excuse to kind of write off what's wrong with this game. If I had to speculate myself, put on my tinfoil hat for just 5 minutes here, I'm gonna assume it's because they were kind of running low on funds from supporting the project and rapidly improving it. But regardless for what that reason is for them jumping into early access the way that they did kind of just on a whim, or what some people would say is on a whim, or to cash in on the Tarkov drama, the game fucks. It's a lot of fun. And if you have $35 and you want to experiment, or you have 35 bucks and you want to invest in a project that isn't a piece of shit, go ahead and just download Gray Zone Warfare. Make sure you come back to this video and let me know what you think though. And besides, I'm going to be covering a lot more Gray Zone Warfare on this channel. I'm pretty much going to be a central hub for Gray Zone Warfare news and updates. So if you guys like what you've seen today and are interested in that, make sure you hit that like button, that sub button, and smash that notification bell for more content like this. And my name is Redbeard Mortis. Speak loud, speak the truth, and I will see you in the Gray Zone.